My specific purpose for today's presentation is to inform my audience on the effects and statistics of generalized anxiety disorder, otherwise known as G.A.D. Anxiety is one of the most common panic disorders worldwide. 18.1% of adults in the United States and worldwide suffer from anxiety. That is equal to 40 million people. 3.1% of Americans specifically suffer with G.A.D. That is equal to 6.8 million people. 31.1% of American adults have suffered from some sort of anxiety within their lifetime. However, it is twice as common to suffer with G.A.D. among women as it is among men, with women suffering 23.4%, whilst men suffer 14.3%. Only 43% of adults suffering with G.A.D. seek help. The recovery rate for sufferers with G.A.D. is 57% of those who seek psychiatric help. By listening to me today, I hope to not only expand your knowledge on what G.A.D. is, but to inform you on the causes and treatment statistics as well. My knowledge on G.A.D. as well as having G.A.D. will help me achieve this goal. I was diagnosed with G.A.D. in elementary school, and since then I have continuously researched to better my understanding of the illness. I have continued interest in joining the medical field, so I wanted a greater understanding of mental afflictions and how they translate to the physical body's health. I would like to expand the audience's knowledge on factors and prevalence of G.A.D. among society. First, I will inform my audience about G.A.D. prevalence throughout society in regards to gender and age groups. Second, I will inform my audience about the factors that can trigger and cause G.A.D. and the symptoms that are experienced. Finally, I will inform my audience about the treatment methods used to reduce G.A.D. G.A.D. is very prevalent throughout society in regards to gender and age groups for many different reasons. Gender plays a big role in the effects and appearances of generalized anxiety disorder. G.A.D. prevalence is twice as common in females as opposed to males. However, while G.A.D. is more prevalent in females, not much is actually known about the gender changes and the overall effects that has on anxiety. Basic parameters involving the age of onset, duration of the illness, and patterns of comorbidity are rather unknown related to gender. In medicine, comorbidity refers to the presence of conditions that co-occurring with the presence of a primary condition. This basically means that not much is known about the secondary effects of G.A.D. in relation to gender. Age also plays a major role in the onset of anxiety and how long it will last for that specific age group. Adults are 5 times as likely to be diagnosed with G.A.D. compared to children. U.S. adults have a 5.7% chance of being diagnosed with G.A.D., whereas U.S. children only have a 1% chance. Some factors that lead to G.A.D. for adults is job security, finances, and responsibilities that put pressure on their everyday life. Some factors that lead to G.A.D. for children is pressure from school, social situations, and other events that may cause the child discomfort and/or stress. Now that you know the differences in age and gender prevalence, I will now inform you about the factors that lead to G.A.D. and the symptoms that come along with that. There are many different triggers that cause G.A.D., and the symptoms have a wide range of intensity and duration. G.A.D. often runs in families who have a history of G.A.D. or any other mental illness. While G.A.D. runs in families, researchers are unsure as to why some family members get it while others do not. Researchers have found that several parts of the brain play a key role in fear and anxiety. Not only this, but biological processes also play a key role in the causes of G.A.D. Researchers are also looking into how stress and environmental factors play a role in the causes of G.A.D. It is clear that stress from various different environmental situations leads to G.A.D. and can cause long-term effects that reduces one's confidence and the one's want to be in social situations. Some symptoms that are common with G.A.D. include constantly worrying and uncontrollable nervousness throughout the day and night. G.A.D. in adults and teens presents symptoms such as restlessness, irritability, issues concentrating, constant dread, nervousness, head and body aches, and trembles, just to name a few. G.A.D. in children and teens causes excessive worrying about school and social life, as well as world issues such as mortality from natural disasters and/or terror attacks. G.A.D. in adults causes excessive worrying about job security, health, finances, and children. G.A.D. is a very common mental illness for those exact reasons. There's an unlimited amount of things that can cause stress in everyday life, which is why there are so many adults and children that are afflicted with GAD. Symptoms have a wide range of effects during duration and impact depending on how serious the illness is for that specific person. Symptoms may get better or worse during varying levels of stress. This depends on what a person is going through and whether or not it be a physical illness, school exams, or even a family conflict. Both children and adults may experience symptoms that make it increasingly difficult to function, which also interferes with everyday life. Symptoms may come on slowly or quickly, depending on the situation that led to the stress of GAD. In some instances, major life events like a decline in health, a car crash, or a life transition such as a breakup or a divorce can lead to the onset of GAD in adults and children. Now that you are aware of the factors that lead to GAD and the leading symptoms caused by the onset of GAD, I will inform you about the leading treatments to reduce GAD symptoms. There are various treatments that are effective in reducing the intensity of GAD for children and adults alike. The first step is to talk to your doctor and make sure that GAD is the causes of your symptom and not an unrelated physical problem. The most common type of treatment is called psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is a very relevant type of treatment that is widely used by psychologists and psychiatrists alike. This treatment has a focus on the cognitive aspects of GAD. Cognitive behavioral therapy teaches different ways of thinking, behaving, and reacting to situations that help one feel less anxious and worried overall. Another way to relieve stressing anxiety is to talk about your challenges and coping mechanisms with support groups. Another type of treatment that is commonly used is prescription medication by your doctor. Depending on the person, your doctor will prescribe an appropriate amount of dosage and type of medication to treat GAD as effectively as possible. The most common type of medication that is used is inhibitors, which blocks the reuptake of neurotransmitters and neurons. This medication is supposed to reduce the amount of stress and make it easier for a person to relax and not be constantly anxious. However, there are some downsides to taking medications prescribed by a doctor. There are many varying side effects caused by various medications that can be very unsavory. Some of these side effects include nausea, headaches, and difficulty sleeping. Not only does psychotherapy and medication help, but having a healthy lifestyle can also help combat anxiety. Getting enough sleep, exercise, and maintaining a healthy diet and family relationship can also benefit in combating generalized anxiety disorder. In conclusion, today we looked at generalized anxiety disorder and learned more overall about anxiety. First, we examined the prevalence of generalized anxiety disorder in society in regard to gender and age. Second, we detailed the factors that lead to GAD and the symptoms that come along with it. Finally, we followed up on various treatments and options to reduce GAD. Remember, all the people who are suffering from GAD and for one reason or another don't seek treatment and are forced to live with this daily limbo of unrest. I hope that the knowledge I have shared with you today has increased your understanding of GAD and added to your knowledge of the common mental illnesses known as generalized anxiety disorder.